Well, look at you, standing on the edge of a moment you didn't schedule, didn't predict, didn't even believe would come this violently. Something slid into place around your life. You felt it before you named it. That tightening in the atmosphere, that strange calm, that unspoken shift in the center of your chest. And you know what's unsettling about it? You didn't chase it. You didn't force it. You didn't beg for it. Something switched in your favor on its own, silently, ruthlessly, like destiny making a correction behind your back. No announcement, no warning, no flashing light. But you feel it. You feel the weight of it sitting on your shoulders differently. And soon, everyone else is going to feel it too. Because your next breakthrough, it isn't arriving politely. It's not slipping through the back door hoping no one notices. It's kicking through the front with a noise that makes haters choke on their own breath. Loud enough to shut entire circles down. Loud enough to drain the arrogance out of people who mistook your silence for surrender. Loud enough to make people who once mocked your pace suddenly pretend they were never watching you at all. Let me tell you something raw. Breakthroughs like this don't come after convenient seasons. They come after nights you don't talk about, after storms you navigated while people slept comfortably under roofs you never had. After years of being treated like a footnote in stories you were the foundation of. Something switched because something had to. Because the version of you that kept breaking quietly, healing quietly, rising quietly, finally reached a threshold. And thresholds don't whisper. They snap, they shift, they erupt. That's what you're feeling right now. This is not motivation. This is metamorphosis. Something in your life has stepped into a different gravitational pull. And every hater, every doubter, every whisperer is about to feel the tremor. You were never meant to rise in silence forever. There comes a moment in every chosen person's life when their growth becomes too large to hide, too heavy to minimize, too undeniable to swallow. That moment is here. And the loudness they're about to experience won't come from your mouth. It will come from your transformation. It will come from the way rooms shift when you walk in, the way conversations pause, the way certain people suddenly avoid eye contact because something in your energy exposes everything in theirs. Loudness isn't volume. Loudness is impact. Loudness is the kind of breakthrough that rearranges social dynamics without making a sound. Loudness is the kind of shift that forces the people who belittled you to become silent witnesses of your elevation. They're not ready. That's the truth they won't say out loud. They were prepared for your consistency, not your acceleration. They were prepared for your struggle, not your rising. They were prepared for you to stay predictable, contained, manageable. But something switched, and now the trajectory of your life has broken out of the frame they boxed you into. You don't belong to their assumptions anymore. You don't belong to their limitations. You don't belong to their outdated narratives. You have crossed into a version of yourself that their imagination cannot hold. Haters go quiet when fate stops obeying their opinions. When your breakthrough becomes undeniable, their voices collapse into whispers, not because they've changed, but because your blessing has outgrown their vocabulary. They don't know how to talk about someone who survived everything designed to break them. They don't know how to comment on someone who rose from ashes so silently that the resurrection feels supernatural. So they go quiet. Quiet not from peace, but from panic. Quiet not from acceptance, but from disbelief. Quiet because what's coming next for you is louder than their envy and stronger than their narratives. And here's what will disturb them most. They'll start realizing they never actually understood you. They understood your exhaustion, they understood your struggle, they understood your wounds, but they never understood your resilience. They never understood the way you regenerate. They never understood how someone breaks 100 times and still walks forward like nothing was taken. They never understood that the quiet you wasn't defeated, you were loading. And now that something has switched, that load is about to hit the world like a blast wave. You've been living beneath your own potential for so long that the rise will shock even you. You've dimmed yourself to make others comfortable, softened your edges to fit spaces never meant for your spirit. You taught yourself survival in climates that didn't want you alive. But breakthroughs, real breakthroughs, they don't honor the environments that oppressed you. They honor the truth you carried beneath the silence. They honor the vision you protected while pretending you had none. They honor the scars no one saw but you healed anyway. This breakthrough is loud because your suffering was quiet. This breakthrough is disruptive because your growth was hidden. This breakthrough is violent in its timing because your patience was weaponized against you. And now life is correcting the imbalance. No one warned them. Not because they weren't paying attention, but because they never believed a switch like this could exist inside someone like you. People assume the quiet ones stay quiet. People assume the humble ones stay small. People assume the broken ones stay low. But you're not in any of those categories anymore. Something in your internal wiring has been rewritten, rerouted, recharged. The same energy that once kept you timid is now fueling your momentum. The same silence they mistook for weakness is now the ground your breakthrough stands on. Your rise is going to expose people's insecurities without you saying a single word. Some will watch with trembling admiration, some with envy they try to hide but can't. Some with a numbness that comes from realizing they miscalculated you entirely. And some will go ghost, not because they're busy, but because your breakthrough forces them to confront the truth about themselves. Watching you win will show them where they've avoided growth. Watching you rise will remind them of every chance they wasted. Watching you expand will magnify every place they stayed small. Silence is easier than accountability, and your breakthrough demands both. The switching moment, the exact second destiny tilted toward your name, happened when you weren't looking, not because you were unprepared, but because blessings of this magnitude aren't delivered to people who cling to control. They're delivered to people who surrendered to becoming. You reached a stage where your suffering had taught you everything noise couldn't. You stopped begging for clarity and started becoming clarity. You stopped chasing opportunity and started attracting it. You stopped asking for permission and started embodying inevitability. That's when the switch flipped. That's when the favor turned. That's when the breakthrough loaded. Not when you were strong, when you were real. And now you're a storm they can't predict and a force they can't ignore. You're stepping into chapters that require a spine made from everything that once tried to break it. You're stepping into spaces where the old you would have second-guessed every step. But that version of you doesn't exist anymore. The breakthrough burned them away. The switch erased them. The rise buried them beneath layers of evolution you didn't even notice happening. Your next breakthrough is not just loud. It's inevitable. It's coded into your survival. It's embedded in your scars. It's written in the places where you refused to die. And when it hits, when the world feels the vibration of your name-changing altitude, silence will fall like ash. Haters will go quiet because they cannot comment on a version of you they never imagined. They cannot speak on a destiny they were never invited into. They cannot explain a switch they didn't see coming. And as their noise collapses, your clarity will rise. Your power will rise. Your access will rise. Your identity will rise. And this is where the story gets uncomfortable. Because the silence around you isn't just the absence of noise. It is the beginning of revelation. You see, silence exposes truth that noise used to drown out. People hid their envy behind chatter. They masked their insecurity with jokes. They disguised their obsession with criticism. But breakthrough has a way of stripping camouflage off human nature. And now that something has switched in your favor, their reactions are no longer protected by distraction. Watch closely. The quiet ones aren't always neutral. Some are quiet because they are calculating. Some are quiet because they are afraid. Some are quiet because your elevation forces them to confront the lie they told themselves about you. That you would never rise, never win, never evolve beyond the version they could control. They don't know what to do with you now. They don't know how to categorize you. They don't know where to place you in the hierarchy they built in their heads. Because your breakthrough didn't ask them for permission. It didn't wait for their acceptance. It didn't slow down for their comfort. This silence they're entering, it's thick, heavy, nervous. It's the kind of silence that shows up when people realize they misread the entire game. And they did. They miscalculated your endurance. They underestimated your resilience. They believed your wounds were disqualifications instead of prophecies. They thought your seasons of stagnation were proof you were finished. But stagnation is not death. In the spiritual world, stagnation is suspension, a pause before release, a gathering before liftoff, a stillness that isn't empty, it's loaded. And the moment that suspension ended, the moment the switch flipped, your name stopped behaving like a name and started behaving like a signal. This is what they were unprepared for. The way your energy changed before your circumstances did. Breakthrough always announces itself internally first. Your thoughts shifted. Your boundaries sharpened. Your tolerance for disrespect evaporated. Your old identity felt too small. Your spirit felt like it was pacing inside your chest, demanding more space, more breath, more room to expand. You didn't recognize it at first. It felt foreign, maybe even frightening. But that was the early tremor of the breakthrough forming, a spiritual earthquake in slow motion. And now, the aftershocks are starting to ripple outward. People can feel it before they see it. They may not say anything, but their bodies say everything. The way they look at you differently, the way they hesitate mid-sentence, the way their posture shifts whenever you enter a conversation, the way their compliments feel forced, the way their silence feels loaded. That's the atmosphere adjusting to your new frequency. That's the world trying to recalibrate around someone who refuses to shrink anymore. Understand this. When something switches in your favor, it switches against anything that was working against you. Destiny does not adjust quietly. It rearranges, it dismantles, it exposes, it forces people to reveal what they never wanted you to see. Not through confrontation, but through reaction. You don't have to test anyone. Their silence is the test. Their hesitation is the confession. Their discomfort is the truth. Some people will go quiet because they can't follow you into the next chapter. Not because they lack desire, but because they lack depth. Breakthrough doesn't just lift you. It filters your environment. It isolates you from the shallow, the insecure, the dependent, the jealous. Breakthroughs demand altitude, and altitude demands solitude. That's silence around you. It's a purging, not to punish you, but to protect what's coming. You can't carry dead weight into the future that's being constructed for you. You can't drag fragile egos into a destiny that requires steel. You can't accommodate people who crumble in the presence of your power. Your breakthrough is loud, but your spirit is louder. And that alone makes insecure people tremble. They didn't expect you to survive, let alone rise with this level of clarity. They didn't expect your silence to evolve into sovereignty. They didn't expect your resilience to calcify into authority. They didn't expect your scars to turn into strategies. They thought the pain would break you. They thought the losses would silence you. They thought the betrayals would paralyze you. What they didn't know is that the pain was building muscle. The losses were building vision. The betrayals were building discernment. While they laughed, you learned. While they doubted, you sharpened. While they dismissed you, you became dangerous. And now that the switch has flipped, everything is responding to you differently. Not because you changed externally, but because you changed energetically. You stepped out of survival mode and into alignment. You stepped out of fear and into embodiment. You stepped out of hesitation and into inevitability. People can sense inevitability. It unsettles them, it disarms them, it dissolves their illusions of superiority. That's why the silence is growing. Your breakthrough is dismantling their confidence in real time. But let's go deeper. A breakthrough like this doesn't just shift your environment, it shifts your identity. You're no longer moving as someone who hopes for change. You're moving as someone who causes change. You're carrying yourself like someone who knows exactly what they bring to the table, even if the table hasn't arrived yet. You're walking with a certainty that you didn't study your way into, you bled your way into. This is not arrogance. This is recognition, the recognition of your own magnitude. This is the moment where your old fears lose their authority, the moment where your past stops being a prison and becomes a reference point, the moment where your wounds stop echoing grief and start echoing prophecy, the moment where your quiet strength turns into a roar the world cannot mute. They will try to downplay you. They will try to ignore the signs. They will try to pretend they don't notice the shift. But silence betrays them. Silence always betrays truth. Do not misinterpret their stillness. It is not peace. It is not acceptance. It is not maturity. It is shock. It is recalibration. It is the dawning realization that the version of you they built their identity around no longer exists. Some people only knew how to feel tall next to your lowest self. But your lowest self is gone now. And without that reference point, they don't know who they are. That's why they're quiet. That's why they're distant. That's why they're strange. Your breakthrough erased the ladder they used to climb above you. Now pay close attention. When something switches in your favor, your opportunities change first, your relationships change second, and your environment changes last. The shift begins within, echoes around you, and then manifests before you. You're in the echo stage right now. The stage where everything feels almost unfamiliar. The stage where your spirit knows what your mind hasn't fully caught up to, yet you are no longer who you were yesterday. And that identity shift is the precursor to the breakthrough's physical arrival. But this breakthrough is not gentle. It doesn't knock softly. It doesn't ask if you're ready. It tears down walls. It breaks patterns. It disrupts expectations. It places you in spaces you didn't audition for. It introduces you to opportunities you didn't chase. It illuminates parts of you that were dormant. It makes noise in places that once tried to silence you. It makes space where you were once suffocated It ushers you into a chapter that feels like revenge wrapped in elevation. And the ones who underestimated you, they will feel this breakthrough before you do. Because people who doubted you are always the first to sense your transformation. They feel the shift in your energy because they've been monitoring you longer than you ever monitored yourself. They studied your struggles. They kept score of your failures. They memorized your weak points. And when destiny starts rewriting your story, their predictions crumble. That crumble is the silence you're hearing now. The quiet isn't accidental. It's the sound of people realizing their narrative no longer fits the reality forming around you. It's the sound of illusions snapping. It's the sound of identities collapsing. Because your breakthrough doesn't just affect you. It forces everyone who misread you to face themselves. And they won't like what they see. They're realizing that the version of you they mistreated was the most harmless version they ever had access to. They're realizing the version of you they dismissed was the last version that would have tolerated their disrespect. They're realizing the version of you they underestimated was the foundation of a much darker, much stronger, much louder force that's emerging now. Breakthroughs do not reveal your strength. They reveal the truth of others. And the truth is this: they needed you weak. They needed you confused. They needed you doubting yourself. Because as long as you were wounded, they could feel superior. As long as you were lost, they could feel stable. As long as you were silent, they could feel loud. But something switched, something tilted, something flipped in your spirit, and the balance of power shifted in ways they never anticipated. That's why the silence feels tense, because now you are the one watching them, not out of revenge, out of clarity, out of discernment, out of an elevated vantage point that exposes the smallness of their intentions. And nothing terrifies small spirits more than someone who no longer needs their validation to breathe. You've stepped out of their jurisdiction. You've stepped out of their reach. You've stepped out of the mental prison they once housed you in. And freedom like that, it radiates, it intimidates, it disorients. That's why they're quiet. They're trying to figure out how they lost control of a game they thought they were winning. But what they never understood is that you were never playing the same game as them. You were enduring while they were performing. You were rising while they were gossiping. You were healing while they were hoping you'd break again. They invested in your downfall because it made them feel tall. Now they're discovering that your rise makes their insecurities go bone deep. The silence around you is not peace. It's panic. It's the sound of people rearranging their assumptions before you expose them, simply by existing at your next level. Because that's the thing about a loud breakthrough. It exposes everything that was whispering against you. Some people will suddenly act supportive. Some will suddenly act curious. Some will suddenly act distant. Some will suddenly act loyal. None of it is sudden. Your breakthrough is forcing their masks to malfunction. Their behavior is not changing. You're just finally seeing how unstable their loyalty always was. Breakthrough doesn't create chaos. It reveals the chaos that was already there. And the shift that just occurred in your life is not a small shift. It is a dislodging, a spiritual plate movement. A silent earthquake under the foundations of your story. You may not have language for it yet, but your spirit knows. It's why you've been standing differently, thinking differently, feeling differently. It's why certain things that used to shake you no longer move you. It's why certain people who once felt essential now feel irrelevant. It's why certain opportunities that once excited you now seem too small. You outgrew a season you were still standing in. And the moment your spirit outgrows something, the world is forced to adjust. This breakthrough is not a blessing, it's a recalibration. It's life correcting everything that underestimated you. It's the universe shifting its weight toward your name. It's divine reversal disguised as opportunity. It's the kind of breakthrough that makes your past look foolish, forever believing it could contain you. That's what's flipping. That's what's switching. That's what's loading. And the silence around you is the atmosphere preparing for your emergence. People think breakthroughs are about doors opening. They're not. They're about identities unlocking. When that switch flipped in your favor, it didn't change your circumstances, it changed you. And once you change at the core, your reality has no choice but to obey. This is why alignment always precedes acceleration. The person you were yesterday could not have held the elevation coming tomorrow. The wiring had to be updated. The mindset had to be rewired. The spirit had to be fortified. You had to lose the version of you that tolerated the bare minimum, trusted blindly, forgave too quickly, and apologized for existing. That version was never going to survive the altitude of the life being unlocked. Altitude isn't just about rising, it's about thinning. The air gets thinner, the circle gets thinner, the excuses get thinner, the tolerance for disrespect gets thinner. Breakthroughs prune you before they promote you. That's why so many people disappeared. That's why certain relationships crumbled. That's why certain environments started rejecting you out of nowhere. You were being prepared for an elevation they wouldn't survive. They were optional. Your breakthrough is not. Let me tell you something they will never admit. They knew something was coming for you long before you did. People who envy you can sense your destiny earlier than you can. They saw the resilience in your eyes long before you recognized it as strength. They saw the fight in your spirit long before you understood it as purpose. They saw the glow under your exhaustion long before you believed it was potential. And that terrified them, not because they hated you, because they saw what you could become if you ever stopped doubting yourself. They felt the magnitude of your future even before you stepped into it. And they prayed, consciously or unconsciously, that you would never reach this point. So when the switch flipped, when the momentum shifted, when the breakthrough activated, their silence wasn't confusion. It was confirmation. Every fear they carried came true. And there's something you need to understand now. People who doubted you will not speak on your breakthrough. Their silence is not humility, it's self-preservation. They don't want to acknowledge your rise because it exposes their misjudgment. They don't want to acknowledge your shift because it invalidates their past behavior. They don't want to acknowledge your evolution because it forces them to confront their own stagnation. Your breakthrough is their mirror, and mirrors never lie. This is why the silence feels so thick. It's not empty. It's admissions they're too proud to say out loud. It's guilt they can't disguise. It's respect they don't want to give you. It's fear they hope you can't see. But you see it. You feel it. And you're not wrong for noticing it. Because this breakthrough is not just loud in impact. It's loud in truth. It brings clarity. It brings exposure. It brings separation. It brings consequence. And here's the part that changes everything. Your next breakthrough will not just silence haters. It will reposition you. It will relocate you. It will re-identify you. It will rewrite how the world interacts with you. People will approach you differently. Opportunities will present themselves differently. Obstacles will behave differently. Even your intuition will speak differently. Because this is not the rise of the old you, it's the debut of the rightful you. And when this breakthrough arrives, it won't knock. It will announce itself. It will drag your name into rooms it was never supposed to enter. It will pull you into seasons you once believed were reserved for others. It will decorate your path with blessings that confuse your enemies and confirm your calling. And as all of this unfolds, the silence around you will deepen. Not emptiness, awe. Not distance, recognition. Not avoidance, fear. Because they thought the quiet you was harmless. They didn't know the quiet you was evolving. They thought the patient you was weak. They didn't know the patient you was strategic. They thought the delayed you was denied. They didn't know the delayed you was being rebuilt. Now they know, and the silence tells the story. But we're not done, because what comes next, what this breakthrough unlocks, what this shift triggers, is bigger than silence. It's consequence, reversal, recognition, and the kind of elevation they cannot recover from. And as all of this unfolds, the silence around you will deepen. Because they thought the quiet you was harmless. They didn't know the quiet you was evolving. They thought the patient you was weak. They didn't know the patient you was strategic. They thought the delayed you was denied. They didn't know the delayed you was being rebuilt. Now they know, and the silence tells the story. But we're not done, because what comes next, what this breakthrough unlocks, what this shift triggers, is bigger than silence. It's consequence, reversal, recognition, and the kind of elevation they cannot recover from. And that's where the real panic begins. You see, silence is only the first symptom, the warming up phase, the pre-shock tremor before their mental ground cracks straight down the middle. But breakthrough, real breakthrough, it doesn't stop at silence. It goes further. It takes inventory. It repositions the furniture inside their ego. It rearranges entire social dynamics without asking anyone for consent. And the best part, nobody warned them. That's the dark humor of destiny. It moves like a thief, but exposes like a judge. Your haters thought they had time to prepare for your comeback. They thought they'd get a rumor first, a sign, an omen, a whisper, maybe a little spiritual buffering period, a chance to rehearse their shock, a chance to practice their fake smile, a chance to adjust their jealousy into socially acceptable envy. But the universe didn't notify them. No memo, no email, no subtle, energetic heads up. Just boom. You shifted. Their reality collapsed. And now they're sitting in the rubble of their predictions, trying to figure out how you slipped out of the storyline they wrote for you. And this is where the comedy kicks in. Watching people pretend they're unbothered while their entire nervous system is malfunctioning like a broken fire alarm. Their eyes say, "How did this happen?" Their posture says, "Who gave them permission?" Their silence says, "Why didn't anyone warn us?" But the universe doesn't warn people who bet on your downfall. It just lets them drown in their own certainty. Your breakthrough is poetic justice wearing combat boots. And as it lands, watch how quickly people start rewriting history. Suddenly the ones who doubted you always saw potential. Suddenly the ones who avoided you were giving you space to grow. Suddenly the ones who laughed behind your back were just joking. Suddenly the ones who ghosted you were healing. Breakthrough exposes reality the way fire exposes the shape of metal. And the shape of some of these people, bent, twisted, fragile, not built for your elevation. Never were. But let's go deeper. because you need to understand what's really happening here. Your breakthrough isn't punishing them. It's revealing them. You're not rising to spite them. You're rising to replace the version of you they were comfortable with. Because breakthrough doesn't just reward you. It demands an upgrade, an identity swap, a shedding. This version of you, the one stepping into consequence and reversal and recognition, they don't know how to handle this one. They don't know how to manipulate this one. They don't know how to guilt this one. They don't know how to decode this one. Because you, now, you walk with a silence that hits harder than your old explanations ever did. You move with a calm that feels like a threat. You speak less, but say more. You give nothing, yet take everything that's yours. Your presence has turned into a psychological event, a disturbance, a glitch in their comfort, a mirror they never asked for. And the moment they sensed your shift, their minds flipped into self-preservation mode. Some started acting overly kind, some overly distant, some overly curious, some overly silent. That's what happens when a breakthrough exposes the architecture of someone's intentions. They malfunction, not because of you, but because of who they were pretending to be. And oh, the irony. Your haters who used to talk loudly can't form a complete sentence now. Your doubters who used to feel taller than you suddenly feel 2 inches tall. Your competitors who used to outrun you now jog in slow motion, pretending they're just taking things easy. But you and I both know the truth. Your breakthrough stole their confidence like a thief in broad daylight. And that's the part no one can warn them about. Your rise doesn't just elevate you. It exposes their stagnation. Now watch what happens next. Watch how the silence deepens into discomfort. Watch how the discomfort turns into reflection. Watch how the reflection becomes regret. Watch how regret metastasizes into envy. And then watch how envy grows into fear. Why fear? Because your breakthrough broke their illusion that you needed them, that you were behind them, that you were predictable, that you were safe. Nothing triggers fear like an unpredictable transformation. They can handle you growing slowly. They can handle you improving quietly. But a sudden elevation, a silent switch, a rise with no explanation, that terrifies them. Because people can only compete with what they can understand. They can only hate what they believe they can outrun. But you slipped past them without announcing your acceleration. You outgrew the race they thought they were winning. You transcended their category entirely. That's the kind of breakthrough nobody recovers from. And you want to know what's coming next? The real consequence. The one destiny sends with a smirk? Recognition, not the shallow kind, not the social kind, not the temporary kind. I'm talking about recognition that forces people to rewrite their worldview, recognition that reprograms the narrative, recognition that burns their old assumptions to ash. Every room you walk into, the energy shifts before you speak. Not because you're louder, but because you're inevitable. Because your breakthrough announces you, the way thunder announces lightning. Delayed, but unmistakable. They finally see you not as who you were, but as who you were always becoming. And here comes the most delicious, darkly humorous part. People will start treating your presence like a risk factor. Not an asset, not an inspiration, a risk. Your glow threatens their shadows. Your elevation threatens their excuses. Your clarity threatens their manipulation. Your evolution threatens their stagnation. This is the part where their silence becomes strategy. They'll pretend not to notice you. They'll pretend not to be impressed. They'll pretend your breakthrough is nothing special. Meanwhile, their spirit is pacing the floor like an anxious security guard who knows something dangerous just entered the building. because something did. You. But not the old you. Not the doubting you. Not the timid you. Not the wounded you. The upgraded you. The rewritten you. The resurrected you. The you that the old world can't hold, and the new world isn't ready for. And that's where this story is about to take its sharpest turn. Because breakthrough isn't the finale. Breakthrough is the ignition, and everything that happens after ignition is consequence wrapped in destiny. That's the part no one prepares you for. The part that tastes like justice but feels like disruption. The part where life stops asking you what you want and starts showing you who you are. The part where the people who once spoke over you suddenly fumble for words, and the ones who treated you like a background character start realizing you were the plot twist the whole time. Your breakthrough is loud, yes, but what comes after it? That is seismic. Because as destiny ignites, it doesn't just move you forward, it drags everything else into alignment, willingly or unwillingly. And alignment? Oh, alignment is violent. It pulls you where you're meant to be and pushes everything that can't survive your new frequency out of your orbit. People who once felt close will suddenly feel far. People who once felt important will suddenly feel irrelevant. People who once felt superior will suddenly feel like cautionary tales. And the beauty of it, you don't have to lift a finger. When something switches in your favor, the universe handles the sanitation process on your behalf. Watch how it removes people who dimmed you. Watch how it exposes people who doubted you. Watch how it drains the energy of people who fed off your insecurity. Watch how it shrinks the influence of those who once overshadowed you. This is not coincidence. This is consequence. The kind of consequence that comes with a smirk. The kind destiny delivers with dark humor like, remember when they counted you out? Let's count them out next. And the more you rise, the more the silence evolves. It becomes tighter, sharper, more revealing. You'll notice it in rooms where your name used to be an afterthought. Now it's a warning. You'll notice it in people who once underestimated your potential. Now they're intimidated by your presence. You'll notice it in the whispers that stop when you walk in. Not because they respect you, but because they can't risk being wrong about you again. Your breakthrough isn't just loud. It's dangerous to anyone who built their confidence on your containment. And here's the chaotic part. People who used to avoid you will now avoid talking about you. People who used to laugh at you will now avoid laughing around you. People who used to think they were above you will now pretend they were always beside you. The air tells the truth before their mouths ever will. You'll feel the shift before you see it. You'll feel how their energy bends itself just to disguise the fact that they misjudged you. Some will try to re-enter your life with soft tones and strategic smiles. Some will send innocent messages dripping in guilty intention. Some will play dumb like they never doubted you. Some will act supportive like they didn't ignore you when support mattered. But you, now, you're sharper than their performance. Your discernment has grown teeth. Your intuition has stopped whispering and started announcing. Breakthrough rewires the way you interpret people. It burns the fog. It eliminates the benefit of the doubt. It lets you see motives the way surgeons see anatomy. Clean, exposed, impossible to deny. And as this clarity grows, something else rises with it. Recognition. Not just external, but internal. For the first time in your life, you'll see your own magnitude without flinching. You'll feel the weight of your own destiny without apologizing. You'll walk without shrinking, speak without trembling, move without second-guessing. Your confidence won't be loud. It will be surgical, calculated, predatory in its calmness. The kind of confidence that makes insecure people uncomfortable because it doesn't need an audience. And that's where the final phase unfolds. The one destiny saves for the chosen differently. Reversal. Every assumption they made about you. Reversed. Every loss they celebrated. Reversed. Every door they thought would stay shut on you. Reversed. Every narrative they wrote about your limitation. Reversed. Not metaphorically, literally. That's the dark humor of breakthrough. It flips the script so violently that even destiny has to smother a grin. The ones who thought you'd stay behind will watch you walk past them with quiet steps and loud consequence. The ones who thought they buried you will realize you were planted in their blind spot. The ones who thought you needed them will quickly understand that they were just the practice field for the person you were becoming. Your breakthrough has no intention of uplifting them. It has every intention of unveiling them. And once unveiled, they crumble in slow motion. Not because you wish them harm, but because exposure is its own punishment. And still, this story isn't done. Because the loudest part of your breakthrough is not the silence it creates. It's the shift, the atmospheric shift, the reputational shift, the spiritual shift, the psychological shift in the people who underestimated you. You are now the disruption, the anomaly, the one they can't explain, the one they can't predict, the one they can't access, the one they can't dismiss anymore. Your name becomes a voltage. Your presence becomes a disturbance. Your path becomes a warning. And here's where destiny leans in with its final punchline, the kind with teeth. They thought your breakthrough would make noise. They didn't know it would make history. Because this shift, this sudden, violent, cosmic switch in your favor, it doesn't fade, it doesn't plateau, it doesn't stop at elevation. It escalates, it compounds, it multiplies. Your enemies will scroll past your progress like it doesn't bother them. Meanwhile, their chest tightens. Your old circles will act indifferent. Meanwhile, their silence is them choking on their regrets. Your doubters will pretend your rise is expected. Meanwhile, destiny is dragging their arrogance by the throat. Your breakthrough is loud, but the consequences are louder. And the final truth: they will never recover from underestimating you. Not emotionally, not mentally, not spiritually, because some mistakes follow people forever, and misjudging someone chosen is one of them. And you're not stepping into a new chapter. You are stepping into a new dimension, one they cannot enter, one they cannot decode, one they cannot sabotage. A dimension where silence becomes respect, envy becomes motivation, and your existence becomes a message. Something switched in my favor, and no one warned you. That is your breakthrough. That is your ignition. That is your aftermath. And from here on out, every step you take will sound like a door closing behind you, one they will never open again. Ah, there you are. The crack in their confidence, the disruption in their hierarchy, the presence they thought they understood, right up until you made one move that rewired the entire chain of command. It's almost poetic watching how fast their certainty collapsed. The same people who used to analyze you like a predictable equation now stand there recalculating everything, because whatever you just did exposed a truth they weren't ready to face. They never had you figured out, not even slightly. You know what's fascinating? They've been profiling you for years, quietly comparing notes, observing patterns, thinking they could decode the way you operate. They had a version of you in their minds, filed, categorized, predictable, manageable. And then you did something that shattered every assumption they built. One decisive action, one shift in posture, one unpredictable recalibration, and suddenly the most hardened individuals in the room felt something unfamiliar creeping up their spine. They don't have a word for it, but their bodies do. It's the involuntary response reserved only for the presence of a superior force. What kills them is how confusing you are to their internal frameworks. One moment, you're calm, controlled, almost gentle. The next, you're surgical, ruthless, and devoid of hesitation. They can't process it. Their minds were built to function in binaries. You're either harmless or dangerous, friend or enemy, soft or severe. But you move through the world like both at once, and the contradiction fractures their mental wiring. They don't know whether to approach you, avoid you, appease you, or run from you. And the worst part? They can't even tell if you notice the confusion you cause, or if you're deliberately letting them drown in it. Let me break it down bluntly. The move you made didn't elevate you. It revealed you. What they witnessed wasn't transformation, it was exposure. They saw the real hierarchy for the first time. They saw who they'd been standing beside while assuming they were standing above. And that realization hits harder than any confrontation. It forces people to reevaluate everything about themselves, their confidence, their role, their leverage. It forces them to confront the possibility that they were performing strength in front of someone who actually has it. And that's where the panic begins. Not the dramatic kind. No shouting, no arguing, no visible breakdown. The kind of panic that shows up in micro-reactions, the stiff jaw, the forced grin, the sudden fascination with their phone, the unnecessary adjustment of their jacket. These are the behavioral signatures of someone who just recognized they miscalculated a player in the room. When the toughest ones start doing this, you know the shift wasn't mild, it was seismic. But here's the part that really stings them. Your move didn't come with theatrics. You didn't create a scene. You didn't raise your voice. You didn't posture. You acted with that terrifying calm only people who are certain of themselves possess. And as much as these individuals love pretending they respect strength, they don't. They respect control. They respect unpredictability wrapped in precision. They respect the person who doesn't need validation to execute. And in that moment, they realized that was you, not them. The toughest ones folded first. That's how it always goes. Not because they're weak, but because they understand hierarchy instinctually. They know when they've been outclassed. They know when someone has stepped into a level they can't mimic. They know when authority is authentic. And no matter how loud, aggressive, or battle-tested they act, their instincts never lie. Their instincts told them exactly where you stand now, above them, ahead of them, beyond them. People like them rely on predictability to maintain dominance. They need to understand someone to manage them. But your last move broke their sense of measurement. They don't know what you'll do next, how far you'll go, or what lines you see as irrelevant. They don't know if you're the type to respond, escalate, ignore, or dismantle. And unpredictability is the greatest fear of anyone who depends on control. There's an almost comedic element to watching them adjust. The same individuals who walked with inflated confidence now walk like their shoes might explode. They speak with measured tones, slow caution, and suspiciously polite phrasing. They suddenly care about your input. They suddenly over-explain their decisions. They suddenly want to make sure you understand the context. You don't need the context. They do. They're terrified of misstepping around someone whose boundaries they can't map. Your last move didn't put you at the top of the food chain. It exposed the fact that you were already there, quietly observing everyone who mistook your restraint for limitation. They confused your patience with uncertainty. They thought your quiet was voluntary compliance. They never considered that you were collecting data while they performed strength. They never realized that you were operating at a depth they couldn't perceive. And once someone sees that the person they dismissed is the person they now have to respect, their entire psychological balance shatters. You know why this hit them so hard? Because they had an internal script about you. They thought you would always be approachable, always composed, always diplomatic, always rational. They believed that you would never disrupt the familiar roles. They assumed you would stay in the version of yourself they built in their minds. But you didn't. You rewrote the entire narrative with one action, and their internal world couldn't keep up. You violated the boundaries of their expectation, not with aggression, but with precision. And that precision is what scares them. People can fight loudness. They can resist dramatics. They can defend against emotional outbursts. But they can't predict someone who moves with purpose, someone who acts only when it matters, someone who doesn't broadcast intention. That's the one enemy every self-proclaimed tough individual fears, the quiet threat that becomes real without warning. There's something magnetic about someone who acts with that level of certainty. It forces alignment. Even the rebellious ones fall in line, because rebellion requires confidence. And confidence can't survive when the environment is controlled by someone who sees the entire board. They know better than to test someone who plays the game from a higher vantage point. They know better than to misinterpret calm for softness ever again. Your last move didn't intimidate them, it educated them. They learned, quickly and involuntarily, that you aren't operating on their timeline, their logic, or their emotional triggers. You're operating from an internal source, something that isn't influenced by approval, pressure, or expectations. And nothing terrifies tough individuals more than someone who isn't motivated by the same things they are. Because if they can't predict what drives you, they can't predict what stops you. They're still replaying it in their heads, trying to break it down like surveillance footage. They're trying to figure out where they miscalculated, what signs they missed, what clues they overlooked. But they can't find any because there weren't any. You acted when it was necessary, not when it was convenient. That alone separates you from them. Their decisions are reactions. Yours are conclusions. Now they're moving around you differently, whether they admit it or not. Their tone is more cautious. Their words are more selective. Their gestures are more calculated. This isn't respect. This is recognition. Recognition of someone who can reorder a room with a single action. Recognition of someone who doesn't need validation to enforce reality. Recognition of someone who can dismantle hierarchy and rebuild it around themselves without saying a word. They don't fear you. They fear misreading you ever again. And that's exactly where the power lies. In the understanding that no one wants to test someone who doesn't need to prove anything. In the realization that the toughest individuals in the room instinctively stepped back and reassessed their standing. In the quiet recalibration of every person who used to speak with entitlement around you. You didn't ask for a new position. You acted in a way that made it undeniable. You didn't declare yourself leader. Their reactions declared it for you. And the funniest part is, they're scrambling to pretend nothing changed, when every detail of their behavior proves everything has. What's happening now is something deeper, something primal. You triggered an instinct older than language, older than social rules, older than every fake expression of dominance humans use to mask their insecurity. You triggered the instinct of hierarchy recognition, the moment when every organism, not just humans, stops, observes, recalculates, and shifts its entire behavioral pattern in response to a force it cannot measure or challenge. That's what your last move did. It wasn't just strategy. It wasn't just timing. It wasn't even just precision. It was a biological reset of the environment. Now look around. The same people who once pushed the edges of your patience suddenly act like those edges don't exist. The same ones who used to test you aren't even willing to test the space around you. The same ones who once walked with an inflated presence now walk like their weight changed. You didn't call them out. You didn't correct them. You didn't demand anything. They adjusted themselves because instinct told them to. That is the mark of someone who has stepped above the chain instead of competing inside it. You know how you can tell the shift was real? It's in the way they speak now. Not what they say, but what they avoid saying. Every sentence is carefully measured. Every word is selected like a soldier, choosing steps in a minefield. Every tone is lowered, softened, controlled, not out of respect, but out of recognition. Recognition of someone who can alter the landscape without raising a hand. Recognition of someone whose decision can change the direction of every conversation. Recognition of someone who doesn't have to fight for the top because they already operate from it. People don't fear a punch. They fear unpredictability wrapped in clarity. They fear someone who doesn't react, doesn't explain, doesn't justify. They fear someone who moves when the moment calls, not when emotions demand. That's what you demonstrated. You didn't need to argue. You didn't need to assert. You didn't need to posture. You simply acted with a level of certainty these individuals spend their whole lives trying to imitate. And nothing exposes imitation like the presence of authenticity. But here's the unsettling truth for them. They never saw the full spectrum of your capacity until now. They got glimpses, flashes, hints. But this was the moment when the curtain dropped, and the reveal was too sharp to ignore. The room suddenly understood that your restraint wasn't a lack of ability. It was control. Control they misread as softness. Control they misinterpreted as compromise. Control they took advantage of because they believed you were operating on their level of thinking. You weren't. You were operating from a vantage point above their emotional reactions, above their ego-driven assumptions, above their need for validation. You were observing their patterns while they were busy performing strength. You were memorizing their motives while they were busy trying to analyze yours. You were understanding them while they were making the mistake of thinking they understood you. And when you made that move, whatever it was, it exposed the entire difference between your depth and their performance. This is the part no one likes to acknowledge. The toughest individuals in any room are often the most fragile. They build their identity on image, on presence, on intimidation, on assumptions that no one will ever challenge them. The moment someone does, someone who isn't performing, someone who doesn't need applause, someone who doesn't play into their theatrics, their whole psychological framework collapses. Toughness without depth is brittle. Toughness without discipline crumbles under precision. And you brought precision. Notice what they did next. None of them confronted you. None of them questioned your action. None of them tried to reclaim the position they thought they owned. Instead, they went quiet on the inside, while pretending composure on the outside. They folded inward, recalibrated their posture, and redirected their energy. They started nodding at things they would have challenged before. They became agreeable in places they used to be stubborn. They became cautious in spaces where they used to be reckless. That shift wasn't submission. That shift was survival instinct. It's fascinating watching them process it. One part of them wants to maintain the image of being unshakable. Another part knows the truth. You shook them without even trying to. They can't admit it publicly because it wounds their identity. They can't admit it privately because it wounds their self-image. So they do what all ego-driven individuals do when they encounter a superior force. They pretend nothing happened while behaving like everything happened. Your move didn't just change the room. It changed the way they see themselves in relation to you. That's the real recalibration. Tough individuals lose their power the moment they recognize someone who doesn't need to match their aggression, their volume, their energy. Someone who operates above the entire arena they fight inside. And once they recognize that person is you, they shift their entire behavioral alignment. This is why the room feels different around you. It's not tension, it's awareness. Awareness of hierarchy, awareness of authority, awareness of the difference between someone who plays for dominance and someone who simply is dominant. And here's the twist they're struggling to face. Dominance isn't something you claimed. It's something they projected onto you the moment they recognized it. They know you can move again. They know you can shift the environment again. They know you can alter the dynamic with as little effort as the last time. And that knowledge alone changes the weight of every interaction. People who used to challenge you now check the temperature before speaking. People who used to interrupt you now wait. People who used to assume you'd bend now assume you won't. Every one of them is adjusting to a version of you they never prepared for. And the craziest part? They still don't understand how you did it. They still can't explain it. They still can't define it. All they know is that something about you moved, and everything about them followed. They can't articulate why. They can't break down the mechanics. They can't create a psychological framework to make sense of it. All they know is the toughest individuals in the room, the ones who once acted invincible, fell in line. Not because they were threatened, but because instinct told them they were no longer the apex presence. And that's where their real discomfort begins. Because once the toughest ones fall in line physically, their minds follow. And once their minds follow, they begin studying you with a different intention. Before, they were observing you to categorize you. Now they observe you to anticipate you. They watch you the way someone watches an incoming weather shift. Not with bravado, but with awareness that whatever happens next depends entirely on you, not them. Every glance they steal, every subtle hesitation, every overly careful phrase is a sign that they're trying to understand how someone they underestimated just repositioned the entire social ecosystem with one action. That's the stage where confusion turns into fixation, where caution turns into recalibration, where dominance stops being external and becomes internalized by them. They start reading deeper into your tone, your posture, your timing, your stillness. They replay the moment in their heads, trying to pinpoint when exactly the power flipped. They search for clues in your expression, in the way you walked, in the way you delivered your decision. But the more they search, the more they realize how little they understood in the first place. Your move didn't just shift the hierarchy. It exposed the blindness in theirs. They lived under the illusion that toughness equals leadership, volume equals influence, and consistency equals control. But what you did proved otherwise. You demonstrated that power isn't the loudest force. Power is the force that doesn't require validation from the ones reacting to it. Power is self-perpetuating. It doesn't chase acknowledgement. Acknowledgement follows it. And now that they've seen what that looks like up close, none of them can unsee it. Watch how they position themselves around you now. No one stands too close. No one stands too far. They orbit you, subconsciously maintaining a respectful distance, not out of fear, but out of recognition that your energy is no longer something they can casually approach. You didn't ask for that space. They created it on their own, because instinct told them you're operating on a higher frequency than their usual confrontational bravado. It's amusing, in a darkly poetic way, watching the ones who once acted unshakable shift their entire internal code because of a single move they couldn't predict. They keep pretending they're unaffected, but their behavior betrays them. They now assess themselves before they assess you. They second-guess their words before they speak them. They run imaginary simulations in their heads, trying to predict how you might respond, not because they want to provoke you, but because they don't want to step into territory they can't handle. That's what true hierarchy feels like. It's not about intimidation or threat. It's about becoming the reference point, the presence others adjust themselves to, the center of gravity in a room full of people who used to believe they were the gravity. You shattered that delusion without confrontation, without conflict, without theatrics. And because you didn't force them into submission, their submission holds more weight. Forced compliance is temporary. Instinctive compliance becomes permanence. What they don't realize is that this shift didn't come from ego. It came from precision. You acted not out of emotion, but out of necessity. The kind of necessity that rewrites an entire environment in one motion. That's why it hit them so hard. Most people's decisions are driven by insecurity or impulse. Yours wasn't. Yours carried inevitability without being emotional. It carried truth without needing volume. It carried consequence without requiring threat. This is the difference between someone trying to climb the food chain and someone who already sits at the top without having to claw their way through. You didn't challenge their dominance. You revealed that their dominance was never legitimate to begin with. That's why they're quiet now. Because the recognition of that truth is too heavy to verbalize. They'd rather swallow it and pretend the shift was mutual, even though they know the real shift was internal, happening inside them, not inside you. And now they face the second phase of adaptation, acceptance. Once the toughest ones fall in line, the rest follow. The middle-tier personalities, the ones who pride themselves on being sharp, observant, analytical, begin copying their behavior without realizing it. They take cues from the alphas of the group, and when they see those alphas adjusting to you, they adjust faster. They're not loyal to strength. They're loyal to whatever strength acknowledges. And since strength now acknowledges you, they become silent disciples of the new hierarchy without needing instruction. Notice how they treat your actions now. Even your smallest decisions get amplified. Your simplest gestures get interpreted. Your briefest words carry weight they didn't carry a week ago. Not because you changed your communication, but because the context surrounding your communication changed. Your presence now has narrative gravity. People attach meaning to things you didn't even intend to signal. They're reading you like scripture, afraid to misunderstand the text. And this is where your dominance becomes irreversible. Because the moment people start interpreting your behavior instead of questioning it, hierarchy becomes real, not symbolic. You're at the top of the chain, and they know it. Not because you said it, but because their reactions declared it long before they consciously admitted it. The toughest ones are the most interesting to watch. They oscillate between forced neutrality and subtle admiration. Their egos won't let them verbally acknowledge what happened, but their instincts betray them every time. They might try to stand tall, but their body language curves around your gravity. They might try to maintain authority, but their eyes move to you before they speak. They might try to hide it, but their entire behavioral rhythm aligns with yours the way predators align themselves under a superior predator. They're not scared of you. They're scared of how naturally they fell into formation. The shift was effortless for you, painful for them, and permanent for everyone. This is the part where people start inventing theories, because if they can't explain your move, they need a narrative to protect their pride. They might tell themselves you got lucky. They might convince themselves you planned this for months. They might frame it as a coincidence. They might claim they saw it coming. But deep down, they know the truth. They didn't see anything coming. You weren't on their radar as a threat because you didn't behave like one. You didn't posture. You didn't compete. You didn't fight for dominance. You operated from clarity, not hunger. And that's what terrifies them most. The idea that someone who wasn't even trying just rose above them effortlessly. That level of presence shouldn't be possible in their minds. So they rewrite the story to protect themselves. But instinct doesn't lie. And their instinct knows exactly what you are, the force they didn't account for. Your rise wasn't loud, it wasn't explosive, it wasn't messy, it was clean. Clean enough to expose how chaotic their version of power always was. Clean enough to highlight how much noise they used to hide their weakness. Clean enough to reveal that they relied on intimidation because they never had certainty. Clean enough to demonstrate that their confidence was decorative, while yours was structural. Now they stand in a room, reordered by a person they underestimated, trying to function the way they used to, but failing at every attempt. You made every one of them feel their own fragility in a way they can't outrun. Their identities were built on the belief that they were immovable. Your move made them realize they were only immovable to those beneath them, not to someone above. Now the air around you carries a different weight, a weight they respond to instinctively. They watch, they adjust, they follow. Not because they want to, but because every cell in their bodies tells them it's the correct response to someone who operates with a level of clarity they can't match. And the funniest part, they still can't pinpoint what exactly you did. They know it wasn't luck. They know it wasn't coincidence. They know it wasn't emotional. But without being able to decode the mechanics, they're forced to interpret the result instead. And the result is simple. The toughest motherfuckers in the room bent their posture when you moved. Not because you demanded it, not because you threatened it, but because hierarchy recognizes hierarchy. And you're operating at the top of the chain now, whether they admit it or not. And now that the shockwave has settled, now that their instinctive compliance has become their new behavioral default, something deeper begins to unfold. Something they didn't expect, something they hoped wouldn't happen after that moment, but something they can't stop. Admiration, not the soft kind, not the emotional kind, the kind that comes from reluctantly acknowledging a force they're unable to match. It's the type of recognition predators give to apex predators, quiet, involuntary, born from survival instinct. They don't bow, but they shift. They don't confess respect, but they behave like it. Their bodies answer to a law they haven't spoken aloud. You see it in the way their eyes track you, not out of challenge, out of calculation. They study you like someone studying a terrain they must now navigate instead of dominate. They've realized you're not another competitor. You're not another loud presence pretending to be dangerous. You're the one who moves without noise and alters the entire structure of the environment. They've realized you're not one of them. You're something above them. And once someone sees that, everything changes. The toughest ones begin reorganizing themselves around you, whether consciously or not. Their priorities shift. Their tone shifts. Their decision-making shifts. They no longer move according to their old internal compass. They move according to your gravitational pull. When you enter a conversation, they pause. When you speak, they listen. When you remain still, their chaos dissolves. Your presence doesn't demand order. It creates order without request. The most fascinating part is what happens internally for them. They're asking themselves questions they've never asked before. What did I miss? How long has this been there? Why couldn't I see it earlier? They're wrestling with the idea that someone they underestimated just became the person they unconsciously aligned themselves with. It's not humiliation, it's revelation. And revelation alters behavior permanently. Your last move didn't just put you at the top of the food chain. It exposed how artificial their version of strength was. Strength built on posture collapses under clarity. Strength built on ego collapses under certainty. Strength built on external validation collapses under internal conviction. You demonstrated the kind of dominance that doesn't hit the chest. It hits the subconscious. And once someone feels that, in their subconscious, the mind has no choice but to fall in line. That's why they're quieter now. That's why their bravado evaporated. That's why their presence has shrunk without you ever shrinking them. They've recognized you're not driven by the same forces they are. They're powered by pride, by insecurity, by audience, but you're powered by something far more dangerous. Authenticity sourced from within. And nothing crushes ego like someone who doesn't need ego to move. This is where the long-term shift begins. When dominance becomes stable. When respect turns into expectation. When the ones who fell in line instinctively now start falling in line consciously. They begin deferring to you without even noticing they're doing it. They ask for your input indirectly. They watch your reactions before reacting. They time their decisions around your presence. They imitate elements of your demeanor, hoping it might grant them even a fraction of the authority you carry effortlessly. You've become the blueprint, the unspoken reference, the gravitational center around which the old hierarchy has reorganized itself. And that comes with a new kind of pressure for them. The pressure of accountability. Because now that they've placed you at the top, now that their instincts have submitted, they must confront a truth they dread. If you can ascend without trying, you can dismantle without warning. They don't fear your capacity to rise. They fear your capacity to remove. They fear your ability to assess them with a level of precision that leaves no room for pretense. They fear becoming irrelevant under someone who doesn't need theatrics to command. This is why they're careful now. Not fearful, careful. They walk differently around you. They measure the distance, they adjust their tone, they pick their timing. It's not compliance. It's survival instinct, camouflaged as politeness. They're not trying to impress you. They're trying not to disappoint you. And what comes next is the most beautiful psychological contradiction. They begin seeking validation from someone who doesn't seek validation from them. The ones who once demanded attention now want your approval. The ones who once performed dominance now hope you see worth in them. The ones who once believed you were beneath them now hope you don't see them as disposable. But you don't operate on those metrics. You don't reward performance. You don't respond to flattery. You don't feed egos. Your recognition, when given, is earned through alignment, not effort. This is where the strongest transformation takes place. Not in them, but in you. You realize those tough individuals were never the standard. They were distractions pretending to be anchors. They were noise pretending to be authority. They were turbulence pretending to be leadership. And your last move was the silent revelation that removed their costume. Now the room sees you clearly, but more importantly, you see them clearly. And once you see the difference between true dominance and counterfeit dominance, the entire landscape becomes easier to navigate. Because now, you know who's real. Now you know who folds under pressure. Now you know who adapts to truth and who hides behind performance. Now you know who's worth engaging and who's worth bypassing. Your rise didn't just expose the hierarchy. It exposed the fragile scaffolding their identities were built on. Some of them are fighting this new reality internally. They're trying to convince themselves nothing changed. They're telling themselves they're still the tough one, still the authority, still the force others answer to. But their behavior betrays them. Their hesitation betrays them. Their new caution betrays them. They're not the apex anymore. They know it. You know it. The entire environment knows it. And this is the moment where real power reveals its second layer: permanence. Temporary fear is easy to create. Temporary influence is easy to fake. But what you created wasn't temporary. It wasn't a reaction. It wasn't a fluke. It was a structural shift that now lives in their instincts. Once someone's nervous system updates its understanding of where the real authority resides, there is no resetting it. They can pretend, they can posture, they can rehearse old patterns, but their bodies will never forget who reorganized the room with a single move. And here's the part they didn't expect. Now that the hierarchy has shifted, they're trapped in a psychological loop they can't escape. They're watching you constantly, not because they fear what you'll do, but because they fear what they won't see coming. Tough individuals can handle conflict. They can handle loud threats, loud enemies, loud challenges. They know how to respond to those. But you don't broadcast, you don't warn, you don't telegraph your next move. And that terrifies them in a way they'll never admit. Because someone who doesn't seek permission can't be predicted. Someone who doesn't perform strength can't be measured. Someone who doesn't crave dominance can't be manipulated. They're realizing they made one of the biggest mistakes a self-proclaimed alpha can make. They mistook calm for softness. They mistook silence for compliance. They mistook your observational nature as a lack of power. And now, they're paying the price, because they watched your patience evolve into precision. They watched your restraint evolve into direction. They watched your neutrality transform into authority. What they dismissed is what crowned you. Watch them now. The ones who once acted like they could challenge anyone are now doing emotional gymnastics, trying to figure out how to stay aligned with you. They don't want to piss you off. They don't want to misunderstand you. They don't want to fall on the opposite side of someone who has already proven they don't need to raise their voice to rearrange the entire hierarchy. Their bravado only worked when they believed they held the psychological advantage. Now that they know they don't, their entire identity begins to destabilize, and that's what they're trying to hide. Not fear, displacement, the loss of the position they built their image around. Without being the apex, who are they? Without being the toughest one, what value do they hold? Without being the center of attention, what meaning does their presence carry? You didn't just rise. You removed the foundation their pride stood on. Their entire persona relied on others believing in their dominance. But once the environment recalibrates, dominance shifts from performance to truth. Your truth. Their performance. That's the difference, and now that they see it, the room feels different to them. The same environment that once responded to their presence now responds to yours. Conversation subtly turns toward you. Eyes shift in your direction when decisions need to be made. Even silence bends around you. Not as absence, but as awareness. They used to think they were the ones carrying gravity. Now they feel themselves being pulled into yours. And here's where the psychological spiral deepens. They don't know how to rebuild themselves under a superior force. They've never been second. They've never been overshadowed. They've never had to adapt to someone stronger in a silent, undeniable way. They've only dealt with challenges that could be met with aggression. But you don't give them anything to push against. You don't fight for the top. That's what makes you untouchable. You're not fueled by dominance. You're fueled by clarity. You don't need their position. You never wanted their position. You simply moved because the moment required it. And the moment recognized you. Now they're caught between two identities. The one they used to believe in, and the one reality forced on them. And the gap between those identities is where their discomfort grows. They find themselves double-checking their opinions before speaking. They hesitate before disagreeing. They adjust their tone when you enter a space. These aren't choices. These are involuntary recalibrations born from subconscious acknowledgement. And that acknowledgement leads to something even heavier: accountability. Because once someone recognizes who the real apex is, their excuses fall apart. They can't behave recklessly anymore. They can't hide behind intimidation. They can't blame others for their shortcomings. They start holding themselves to a higher standard, not because you demanded it, but because your presence exposes every part of them that lacks discipline. You don't judge them. You don't correct them. But standing near you forces them to confront who they really are. Some will grow from this. Most won't. The ones who grow will quietly align with you, adjusting their behavior with humility instead of fear. They'll recognize your rise as something earned, not imposed. They'll understand that real leadership isn't about dominance. It's about clarity, precision, and grounded presence. Those ones will thrive around you because your movement activates something deeper in them. But the ones who won't grow, they'll fracture. They'll begin overcompensating, trying too hard to look unbothered, trying too hard to reclaim an identity that no longer fits. They'll make subtle attempts to challenge you, not because they believe they can win, but because they're desperate to resurrect the version of themselves they lost the moment you moved. These are the ones who will collapse under their own insecurity. You won't have to do anything. Their ego will do the job for you. And this is the real beauty of the shift you created. You didn't just climb the food chain. You exposed who never belonged near the top in the first place. You revealed who had real strength and who had borrowed strength. Who had real confidence and who had inflated confidence. Who had real awareness and who had blind arrogance. These revelations didn't come from confrontation. They came from observation. They came from consequence. They came from your ability to act without needing the performance that others rely on. Your move wasn't just decisive. It was diagnostic. It showed you the truthful nature of every person in the room. And that truth becomes your new compass. You know who respects you genuinely. You know who fears you quietly. You know who envies you silently. You know who will align with you willingly. You know who will pretend to align while plotting their image. You know who will crumble under pressure. You know who will rise because of your presence. That's why you're at the top now. Not because you wanted the position, but because you're the only one mentally equipped to handle it. And deep down, they all know it. Even the ones who resist. Even the ones who pretend they're unfazed. Even the ones who still cling to their old identity like it's armor. Their instincts don't lie. Your last move revealed who the real apex is. Not by force, not by threat, but by unveiling the distance between who they thought they were and who you actually are. The toughest motherfuckers in the room didn't fall in line because they submitted. They fell in line because they recognized. Recognition is stronger than fear. Recognition is deeper than intimidation. Recognition is permanent. And now, whether they like it or not, whether they admit it or not, whether they try to hide it or not, they move around you the way every ecosystem moves around its apex. Not because they're weak, but because you're operating on a level they can't touch, can't decode, and can't compete with. And once someone sees that truth, there is no going back. This is your hierarchy now. This is your territory now. This is your chain now. And everyone, even the toughest motherfuckers, knows exactly where you stand on it.
They thought they had all the power, didn't they? They thought they had everything under control. A quick call, a couple of dollars, and they could erase you from existence. They thought it was that easy. But what they failed to understand, what they never considered, was that when you provoke a hitman about someone like you, you're not just starting a countdown to death. No, you're opening the floodgates to an ocean of terror. These poor fools, they didn't know that fear is the one thing that doesn't listen to money. Money can't control it. Money can't buy it off. No, no, no. The second they stirred the hornet's nest by mentioning your name, they were already caught in its web. They thought it was a joke, a laugh, a game. They thought they were untouchable, sitting in their ivory towers, too far away from the dirt and grime of the world they were trying to manipulate. But here's the thing, sweetheart. Nobody is untouchable. And you? You were never the target. They thought they were playing chess, but they forgot one thing. The rules don't apply to everyone. You see, they wanted to take you out, deal with you, like you were just another expendable character in their little drama. But they made the mistake of underestimating you, underestimating what you could bring. When you push a hitman's hand, when you provoke a man of violence, it's never about just pulling the trigger. It's about something far worse. It's the waiting. It's the knowing that something is coming. And the terror? It doesn't show up the way they think. It's not some clean, swift execution. No, terror is an insidious, creeping thing. It sneaks in when you least expect it, settling deep into your chest, locking your heart in place, and suffocating you. And that, my friends, is what's coming for them. And it's already too late to stop it. They thought they were safe. They thought they were invincible. After all, they had hired the best, didn't they? The best hitman in the business. The one with the cleanest record. The one who never missed a shot. They thought they had it all figured out, didn't they? A man with a gun can change everything, they thought. A man with power, control, the ultimate weapon. But they forgot one thing. Fear is the real weapon. And when you mess with someone who knows fear, when you poke the beast that feeds on terror, it doesn't matter how many bullets you have, how many secrets you hide, or how much money you throw around. They thought their hitman could take care of the problem. But you weren't the problem. You were never the problem. They were. The hitman was just the messenger, the one who would deliver the end. The thing is, though, you don't have to wait for the bullet. You just have to wait for the terror. And when the terror comes, it doesn't come alone. It's a force, a storm that rages through every inch of their mind, every inch of their life, until there's nothing left but the wreckage. And that's what's going to happen to them. They're going to drown in it, drown in their own terror. Because once you stir the pot with death, there's no unstirring it. Here's the kicker. The hitman they hired, he's a tool that does one thing: end lives. But the terror they'll face is far more brutal than anything that tool could ever deliver. It's not death that's the problem. No, it's what happens in those last moments before it. The waiting, the endless panic, the paranoia, the suffocating fear. They'll feel it crawling up their spine, a dark shadow that will cling to them, suffocate them, until they beg for release. But release? Release is not something terror gives out for free. Oh no, not at all. It's so delicious watching them squirm, watching them wait, knowing that they're caught in their own trap. It doesn't matter where they go or how far they run, that terror is going to find them. You can't escape something like that. You can't outrun it. It finds you in the dead of night when you're lying in bed, thinking everything is fine, only for the cold sweat to break out on your skin as you realize something is watching you. Something is coming for you. It's the sound of footsteps behind you when no one's there. It's the phone ringing with no one on the other end. It's the feeling that you're being hunted. You see, this is the game they've invited themselves into. They thought they could just pay someone off, thought they could sit pretty behind their fancy walls. But the terror, it doesn't work like that. It works in the cracks, in the spaces between thoughts, between breaths. It works in the places you can't see, the ones you can't control. They've invited something darker than they could ever imagine into their world. And now it's too late to change the rules. They're already drowning in it. They've done what no one should ever do. They've provoked a force that has no mercy, no end. And that is where the fun begins. Have you ever seen a man break before? Seen him crumble piece by piece as the pressure slowly melts away his grip on reality? It's a beautiful thing to watch, like a house of cards caught in the wind. And that's exactly what's happening to them now. They thought they could control everything. They believed that by pulling the right strings, they could sit back and watch as someone else did their dirty work. But the truth? It's far more twisted than they could ever fathom. They're not in control. They never were. And now, their fear? It's something they can't tame, can't bargain with. Oh, they're not running from a hitman. They're running from something far worse. You can't escape this. They can lock doors, pull down blinds, hire guards, but none of that matters when the walls are closing in on you from the inside. It starts in your gut, that gnawing feeling that something is terribly wrong, that something's after you. It creeps up slowly at first, a whisper that grows louder with every tick of the clock. Then the weight sinks in, pulls you down. You can't move. You can't breathe. It doesn't matter how many locks you've got or how many phones you've thrown out. They know it now. They've opened Pandora's box, and what's crawling out isn't anything they're prepared for. It's not the smooth, calculated end they envisioned. No, it's far worse. They're looking at a horror that has no shape, no boundaries, a nightmare that twists with every passing second, taunting them. You don't have to be the one to pull the trigger. No, no. You're already winning. You're already in their head. The terror that grips them now is the product of their own mind, their own panic, their own blood pumping faster, their heart pounding, suffocating them. They've crossed a line they can't uncross. They've given birth to a monster of their own making. But here's the real beauty of it, the real twisted art. Terror is not something you can shake off. It's like ink on your soul. It stains everything you touch. It shapes how you see the world. Your thoughts become clouds, dark and heavy. Every corner you look into is filled with shadows that move when you're not looking. Every knock at the door, every phone call makes you flinch. It's there, in the quiet. It's there when you try to sleep, when you close your eyes and you hear that creak in the floorboards. It's the tick of the clock that sounds a little too loud, and you'll start to wonder, is it coming for me? Is this the moment? You can't escape that question. The terror that crawls inside your head is the real killer, not the hitman. They're sinking now, deeper and deeper into their own minds. And that's the worst part, isn't it? Because once fear takes hold of you like this, there's no place left to hide. It doesn't care where you are, what you've built around you. It'll tear everything down, every wall, every defense. They thought they could stop this with a few $1,000. They thought they could just pay someone to silence you. But you know better, don't you? You know that the true weapon is fear. And when you unleash it, it doesn't work on your terms. It's not like a bullet you can aim or a contract you can sign. It works in ways that make no sense, doesn't obey the rules. It's a whisper in the dark, a heartbeat in the silence, a crack in the foundation that no one can see, but everyone can feel. It's almost poetic, isn't it? They thought they had the advantage. They believed they were in the driver's seat, steering this twisted little game. But now, they're realizing they're nothing more than passengers in a wreck they can't avoid. They're trapped in the chaos they created. There's no escape from it. No matter how far they run, no matter how many times they check over their shoulder, it's always right there, breathing down their neck, just waiting for them to crack. And when they do, when they finally break, it won't be clean. It won't be pretty. You don't have to make it quick. You don't have to make it painless. That's the beauty of it all. The terror, it doesn't need to be a clean death. It's the slow burn, the descent into madness. And what's even better? You don't have to touch them to make them feel it. They're doing it to themselves. Every minute they waste, every second they live in their own paranoia, it's like an eternity of drowning. And what's the worst part? It's not even the physical end that gets to them. No, it's knowing that it's coming, but having no idea when. That's the real horror, the anticipation. It's far worse than a bullet between the eyes, because at least a bullet gives you closure. But terror lingers. Terror is a slow, agonizing realization that nothing you do can save you now. There's no last-minute redemption, no sudden twist of fate. It's like being buried alive, an endless, torturous countdown to your inevitable fate. You see, the beauty of this situation is that you don't need to lay a hand on them. They're already done. But this is just the beginning. They thought they could escape, thought they could outrun the inevitable. But you can't outrun what's already inside you, can you? The terror they're feeling now, it's not just a shadow that looms over them. No, it's a suffocating force, creeping through their veins, twisting their minds. They tried to provoke the storm, but what they failed to realize is that this storm never passes. It devours. It tears at their very foundation until there's nothing left but fragments of their former selves. Their minds are fraying at the edges, no longer able to distinguish the real from the imagined. Every noise, every flicker of light, every breath, they've become threats. Their own hearts pound like a drum, each beat louder than the last, signaling that time is running out. They thought they controlled the situation. Now they're prisoners to it. The terror inside them spreads like wildfire. They can't stop it. They can't fight it. It's too late. It's too deep. Every decision they made, every step they took to provoke you, has led them down this path of no return. They're shackled by their own choices, and now they're drowning in the consequences. The weight of their own fear crushes them. But here's the thing. They won't even know when it finally breaks them. It's the slow unraveling that destroys the soul, the slow creep of paranoia, the descent into madness. They thought they were strong enough to handle the pressure, but now they're suffocating beneath it. They'll never see it coming, and even if they did, there's no escape. The hitman? They thought that was the threat. But what they never understood is that the true weapon is something far more insidious. It's the invisible enemy, the one that eats away at them from the inside until nothing remains but a hollow shell. Fear doesn't need a face, doesn't need a name. It doesn't need anything at all. It's just there, lingering, taking root in every crevice of their consciousness. And now, it's growing, expanding. You're not the villain here. You're not the one pulling the trigger. They did this to themselves. And so, they're drowning. Not in blood, not in violence, but in terror. The kind that twists their every thought, their every move. The kind that makes them question if they've ever known peace, if they've ever known safety. The kind that keeps them awake at night, staring into the abyss, wondering if this is the end or just the beginning of a new kind of hell. Their bodies can't take it. Their minds can't take it. And they'll try to run. They'll try to hide. But there's nowhere to go. You've already won. They're trapped in a cage of their own making. They're drowning in terror, suffocating under the weight of their own mistakes. And here's the most beautiful part of it all. They did this to themselves. Every wrong move, every challenge they threw your way, every time they thought they could get away with provoking something they couldn't comprehend, it all led them here, to this moment, to this feeling, the terror that consumes them. It's the reflection of everything they ignored, everything they pushed aside. The worst part is, they'll never know when the end is coming. It's coming, but they'll never see it. You don't need to say a word. You don't need to lift a finger. The terror has already taken root. It's too late for them. Too late for any salvation. Too late for any hope. Their lives are now dictated by fear. Their every step, their every breath is just another reminder that they are not in control. and there's nothing they can do to stop it. They provoked a hitman. They provoked you. And now they will drown in it. The terror they feel won't end with them. It won't disappear in a moment. It will echo, reverberate in their minds, clawing at them until there's nothing left to claw. It will follow them into every room, every corner, a constant reminder of the mistake they made. Every day will be a battle. Every minute will be a war. And they won't even have the strength to fight it. They'll lie awake at night, staring into the darkness, wishing for an end they can't have. They thought the hitman would be the one to finish them off. They were wrong. It's the terror that will be their undoing. They'll be ghosts of their former selves. They'll forget who they once were, buried under the weight of fear, guilt, and regret. And the irony? The terror that haunts them, the terror that drives them to the brink of madness, is all you're doing. You're the puppet master. You're the storm they could never outrun. And now, they're paying the price. In the end, when it's all over, when the terror has done its work, there'll be nothing more than empty shells, trembling in the wake of their own destruction. You've already won, and they'll never understand how. Because it wasn't a hitman that did it. It wasn't you pulling a trigger. It was the terror that you set in motion. And that is the most terrifying weapon of all.